still are in a lot of areas, but just very enthusiastic about some of the stuff we were hearing. And I would talk to all sorts of people who I knew had some interest in music from other countries or other cultures, and amongst that number quite a lot of rock musicians. And I talked to Pete Townsend, and one of his first comments was, have you heard this Qawwali singing? I think you should really check this out.
His music has clicked to the West and to our own people because his training, first of all, his father was a great Qawwal himself, a big name, and you know, they're trained properly in classical field. So it's not that they've just had a little bit of training and they've got up and started to sing.
मक्के गया गड मुकदी नाही भावे सौ जुमे पढ़ आइए.
I was introduced to Nusrat through a videotape of his, of a show he'd done in Digbeth Civic Hall, and I found his music to be beyond everything I'd ever heard, in terms of I'd heard jazz, reggae, classical, Indian, classical, Western music, African music. But what made Nusrat stand out was that I was able to understand something that I'd missed out on in terms of my own culture.
My family has been involved in music and art since the 15th century. At different times, we have produced some of the best singers. In more recent times, it was my father, Fatah Ali Khan, and uncle, Mubarak Ali Khan, who furthered this work. My uncle Mubarak Ali Khan sang in the Khayal style, and my father in the Durbat singing style. My family school of music has basically specialized in the Khayal and Durbat singing styles. Now previously, the two singing styles hadn't been used together. So what they did, my father and uncle, was to combine the two styles in their Qawwali singing and produce a remarkable sound. Than Bukhara. At that time, it was known as Sama. Since the 12th century, this music has been an important part of popular culture in the Indian subcontinent, where it is known as Qawwali. In my view, our music today is what it is because of Amir Khusro. Whatever is being undertaken in the Khayal singing style today, whatever is being done, is because of him. We are covering ground which was mapped out by him.
Hazrat Amir Khusro was a great humanist, poet, Sufi saint. His contribution to Indian music, or our music, is great. His name is linked with quite a lot of things which are important in a classical music. Qawwali is one of them. Tabla, sitar.
The most obviously striking thing is that I can't understand a word he's saying, so all I listen to are the sounds. And in the use of vowels particularly, you get this really incredible kind of slide, and that it's in the vowels that you lose yourself. If you have to be kind of like phonetically precise about it, it's not the consonants, it's not the hard kind of K's or the T's, it's where the voice just opens up and the whole body just relaxes, and the A's and the I's and the U's and the R's come out. That's where it really happens for me.
I think he's an enormously charismatic performer, and you know, when you see all this stuff with the hands, they somehow are a big part of this performance. And if you know, in a way, I mean, the sound is chiseling out pictures in the air, and the hands are sort of embellishing it in some ways.
When I was a child, my father didn't believe that I had what it took to become involved in this art. It's very difficult. It takes a lot of practice and learning. So he didn't want me to become involved. But from an early age, I was keen. When he was teaching his students, I used to secretly watch. One day, he caught me practicing. After that, he accepted my interest and began to teach me. First, he taught me the tabla, because in his view, rhythm is very important in our music. So he taught me rhythm.
I mean, it's a very dedicated form. I mean, they've dedicated their whole lives to it, and it shows in the way that they come across on stage, because they wouldn't be able to create that sound. They wouldn't be able to improvise to that extent, to the split timing that they have, without some kind of dedicated effort in learning it in the first place, and then coming across on stage in a way that is very professional.
What struck me there was that you actually saw people in states of reverie, states of abandon. And again, I don't think it's because you don't need to know all the formal and structural components of the music to kind of get there. It's the sound, it's what happens with the organisation of sound, it's the synthesis. But beyond the synthesis is where the real pleasure happens. You know, there's this kind of like little crack in all the meanings that are put together. And in that little gap, that's where the real kind of pleasure comes. It's an immensely pleasurable music.
मुछी होया साडे जान दा वेला साडा कोई वसाना सजना एहो तेरे आउण दा वेला ते आखां हुण आ जा तैनूं वखियां उडीकदियां आ जा तैनूं वखियां निजामुद्दीन औलिया अलाउद्दीन औलिया निजामुद्दीन औलिया अलाउद्दीन औलिया मैं तो जब देखूं मोरे संग हैरी माँ रंग हैरी देश बदेश में ढूंढ फिरी हूँ देश बदेश में ढूंढ फिरी हूँ मोहे तोरा रंग मन भायो मुहिनो दीन तोरा रंग मन भायो फरीदो दीन तोरा रंग मन भायो अलावो दीन तोरा रंग मन भायो मुहिनो दीन ऐसो रंग और नहीं देखूं कहीं भी मैं तो ऐसो रंग और नहीं देखूं कहीं भी निजामुद्दीन औलिया जग उचियारो निजामुद्दीन औलिया जग उचियारो जग उचियारो जगत उचियारो जग उचियारो जगत उचियारो वो तो जो मांगे बर संग हैरी माँ रंग हैरी आज रंग हैरी माँ रंग हैरी